Jennifer, and thank you for joining me. I'm going to be putting together a fun bracelet using some of the beads and components from the Dark Night Treasure Edition Best Bead Box from Potomac Beads. I'm going to be bringing in some of their beading cable. This was in a box maybe in January, and I still have quite a bit left. So we're going to go ahead and use some of this up. And that is really awesome about these bead boxes, is that you can really build your stash. You can build on your stringing materials. And what I plan to do is at the 6-month mark, I'm going to take all my extra beads, and I've left beads intentionally, but I'm going to take those beads and I am going to make a project using the leftover beads so that we can show you how you can use your stashed beads and components in the future with other boxes. So I am going to also be using this gorgeous oval pendant, and this was in the Best Bead Box Treasure Edition for this month. Also, one of these screw clasps. I really like these for necklaces. Very easy to use, and we'll go ahead and use that. I'm also going to be using some of these spacer beads. These are 4mm premium, 99.9% silver plated, and these are seamless. I'm going to be using some of those. Also going to be using some of the Miyuki 80 seed beads in black that were also included. I did grab some 22 gauge German style wire from my stash. I am going to make a knotted head pin because, as you can see here, that has quite a large hole, but I don't want to take away from the pendant. So I don't want to have extra beads or extra pieces here for this one project and to take away from this gorgeous pendant. So we're going to make a knotted head pin, and at the top we're going to make a little bit of a bail. I'm also going to be bringing in some smaller, these are 3mm, 3x2mm, and these were from either last month or the month before, so they were either in February or January. And you get a pack, so for example, this one was a pack of 50, and I still have some left, and I used quite a bit in one of my other projects. This one here has a pack of 100, which is quite a bit as well, and they're a little bit larger. They have a nice size hole, and so I'm just going to make a simple strand and with the pendant because I don't want to take too much away from the pendant. So let's go ahead and let me get some of these items pushed off to the side, and let's get started. As for tools, we are going to be using, I'm going to have some just regular chain nose pliers. I have some nylon jaw pliers for making the knotted head pin. I have a crimper tool because I am also going to be using some 2x2 crimps. And then we have a round nose pliers. We have some cutters, flush cutters, and we have some bent chain nose pliers. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make our knotted head pin. I have a large spool of wire, and so I don't like it to all come untangled. It doesn't have those little plastic holders. So I just, this is how much one length around the spool goes, and so I always just pull it off this way, and I always just basically work from the spool. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I want to give this a really good flush cut, which I already did. So I already have a good flush cut when I cut it from the spool. Then what I want to do is I'm going to come in just at the very tippy tip of my round nose pliers, and I just want to wrap around a few times. So I'm going to wrap around. There's one time around because I could see the front there. So maybe we'll just go 2 times around. We will go 2 times around. Okay, so now that I have that there, I want to keep it inside my round nose pliers because it's easier to bring that up by doing it that way. All right, and I do want it to be a little thick, and we'll see. Maybe I have to do 3. We'll just see how far this takes us. I'm going to go ahead and cut off this end here. And I'm going to take this here now, this one end, and just pass it through the inside of that coil. Okay, so I've passed it through that coil. I'm going to go ahead and bring that through. And this is where the nylon pliers come in, where also my chain nose pliers come in. And I'm going to go ahead and just come in here and just give it a good tug. Give it a good tug. And I also like to just kind of tuck that in a little bit, gives it a little bit of flatness. Okay, so now we have our little knotted head pin. We'll make sure. And as you can see, it fits perfectly in there really well, and it's not going to come through at all. Now what I could do is I could add maybe a bead on this end, but I'm going to do, this is 22 gauge, so I'm going to do kind of like a messy-ish wrap where I am actually going to when I go to wrap, I'm going to wrap down the coil or down the neck, and then I'm going to come back up, and it'll make it a little bit bulky, and it will cover up the size of that hole there. So I'm just going to go ahead, and I don't want a long neck, so I am here at the tippy tip of my chain nose pliers. I'm going to come in, and I think I want to use two jump rings. I like that two doubled up jump ring look. And so go ahead, and I'm going to come down my round nose pliers just a little bit where I know that I can fit a couple of jump rings through there. Okay, so after we do that, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping. Okay, so I'm going to go down a few times, make sure that that's all nicely tugged into place. Then I'm going to come back up, and coming back up is what's going to give it that bulkier look. And there we go. Okay, we're going to go ahead and come around the back, give it a little bit of a trim, and then I'll be using this for another project. Let's go ahead and come in with our bent chain nose pliers, or you can hold it with your fingers. I like to use my pliers because I feel like I have more control when I do it that way. And there we go. So we have our pendant ready to go. We'll try using two there. So let's go ahead and open these up now. And let's go ahead and get that one opened up. Oh yeah, we'll be able to fit a couple in there. And I'm thinking maybe I might, no, those will fit over those. Okay, because I don't want the jump rings to, I don't want this to run along the beading wire. So I want my jump rings to be large enough to where to fit over those other silver beads. Okay, so now we've got that, and we can push that off to the side. Okay. All right, and I want a short-ish necklace. Let's go ahead and just pull out three. Three should be enough. Okay, and I want a short-ish necklace. I don't want it to be super long. So maybe about 16 inches or so. So I'm going to go ahead, and I usually work from the spool, but since I know about the size that I want this to be, and I can continue adding beads on both sides, I'm probably not going to have that much of a waist. So I do want to hold that in place a little bit. There we go. We'll put that off to the side for the next one. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and pick up three. This is for the center. So we're going to have this go down in the center. And hopefully these jump rings will fit over it. If not, we'll grab bigger ones. But nope, they fit over perfectly. So that's how I want that to go in the middle, but I want the beads to go underneath the jump ring knot. I don't want the jump rings to go in between. And so we'll make sure to get that nice and snug. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I want to do like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2. We'll see what that looks like. And then we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like that. I like the 2. So let's go 1, 2. And then we'll continue going up. And again, I want this to be about 16 inches. So we'll see how many of these segments here we can get in there. All right, so then that is really pretty. And I like having the silver, the smaller seed beads in between. Those are almost kind of like about the same length as those 2 put together. But we will go ahead and see how many we can get done here. And let's go ahead and put 2. I really love this box. This one here, as I'm doing this, I'll go ahead and talk. But I want to talk to you a little bit about this Best Bead Box, the Treasure Edition. There's also a kit edition that is just kits. It's 2 to 3 premium kits. And again, this is a monthly subscription from Potomac Beads. I will have a link in the description for you to use. And I absolutely love it. This is my 3rd box. And as I told you earlier, I have purposely left beads aside from the prior boxes. I haven't used all the beads in all of the boxes on purpose because I want to do, I'm going to do a special tutorial, like a 6-month tutorial on using up your beads from your prior bead boxes, how you can bring them all together. You can build your stash with them. You can do anything that you wish. Now, this is a monthly subscription, but you can also subscribe for multiple, there's multiple levels. So there's your monthly where you pay by the month, and that is $39.99 a month. You can also subscribe as a quarterly, and then that drops the price down to $39 or $34.99. So you save a few bucks by doing it that way too. Then, if you were to go and register annually, I have to watch here because I did too many. An annual subscription is $29.99. So if you do quarterly, you can save yourself about 60 bucks, about $60 a year. If you sign up annually, then you can save yourself about $120 a year. So that is a great deal. Plus, you know what they do? I'll tell you, they take 5 golden tickets and randomly place them in these boxes for the subscribers, and during their live unboxing, they will reveal the winner. Awesome. Also, too, as being a subscriber, you will gain access to products on their website, either early or exclusive for subscribers. Also, too, with the kit edition, those are premium kits, and they're not available to anybody else. So it's pretty incredible. And if you sign up for both of them, then you increase your chances, you double your chances winning a goodie bag from Potomac. All right, so let's keep on going here. What I might do is add maybe a couple of, because I don't know if I want this sliding around over the black ones too, but I guess that'll be okay. I don't know, we'll see. All right, so let's go another one here, another round, and let's go just like this. And let me see how long that's going to be. So I'm going to step away real quick just to see how long that's going to be. Now that's a very good length. I like that length. So I did 3 of the small beads, and you can use any beads. You can, and as you can see here, the 5mm jump rings fit over the 8OC beads too. So you don't need to have these if you don't want to. But then what I did was I did 5 black, 2 silver, 5 black, 2 silver. And this sits, the pendant sits just below where the chest bone starts. So just below. All right, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and tie this side off. And I'm going to go ahead and do that by adding a 2x2 crimp tube. I'm going to go ahead and use a wire guardian. You don't have to use these if you don't want to. I really love this wire. This wire is it said that it's a 7 strand, but it is pretty, it's pretty tough. It's pretty sturdy. All right, so let's go this way. And let's go ahead and get that through there. All right, and I don't want my wires to cross. And also too, what I do before I like my wire guard to be a little more tight. I don't want to stick out. So what I do is I take the front well of my crimper and I just squish it in a little bit. I use this front well of the crimper. So the back well that you do your initial crimp with makes it into like a V or a taco. Then the top one kind of rounds it off a little bit. And I like those for my crimp covers too. I use the front for my crimp cover. I rarely use crimp covers, but when I do, that's what I use. All right, so let's get this back into the back well. Make sure my wires are not crossing. So I pull them apart a little bit, and then I'm going to come in and use the front part and got that. So let's give it the tug test. It worked. All right, so let's go ahead and come in and trim off that little bit of a tail. Okay, so now we got that. Now we can go ahead and finish up. Okay, so I think I want to change things up. I think I want to go ahead and add one. So I want this to get over here. Let's move this down. We're going to take this off because I don't want it to slide around. So I'm going to go ahead and put one of these guys on, and then 3. And I kind of want the pendant to go over metal because I don't want it to break with the glass seed beads. All right, so I'm going to do this. All right, so I'm going to do it that way so that I don't want it moving around. After I started putting it together, I had it strung up quite a bit. I thought, oh no, I didn't like how it was sliding up and down those black beads too. So I'm going to go ahead and return, but I wanted to tell you what I was doing before I went too far. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish stringing these and we will come right back. Okay, so we've made it down to the end. And of course, look, that's why I always work from my spool. I don't leave very much room. So the first thing that I like to do is I just like to take a peek and look and make sure. So I have 1 and 1. Those look like those are all 5. I have 2, 2, 2, 2. Just kind of give yourself a little look at your pattern and make sure that that's coming out right. I love this. This is absolutely stunning, and it's just simple beading. So let me go ahead and let's put together this last one. Again, I have barely any room here, but we'll make it work. So let's go ahead and put in this wire guard. And I also want to make sure, I don't want it tight, but at the same time, I don't want it loose because of that end where, not the end, where the pendant is. I don't want that too loose. I don't want the pendant down on the wire. And again, this is good wire, but I just don't want to run that risk. So you see, I put it through the first bead, and I do that just because then I have a little bit of extra to kind of tug on. And so then I don't have that wire sticking out right next to where I'm going to crimp. I'm going to come in with that front notch and just crunch that in a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring that in. I'm just going to make sure that this is all good. And yep, they're not sitting in between there. And I just want to make sure that my wires are not crossing. They're not crossing. And I want to make sure that when I crimp down, I'm not crimping down on top of a seed bead. And we're going to give that a crimp and give that a crimp. Give it the little tug test. It's not coming apart. And then I'm going to come in close to the end there and maybe get a little bit closer. Unless I can get that tucked in. Oh, I got it tucked in. All right. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll just, also just for added, I'll just give it a little bit of extra. Not a lot, because you don't want it to, you don't want to break it. You can actually break it. I've crimped before to break it. Now, as you guys have seen with me, there's a front and there's a back. And the back is where my tail ends, and that's where my tail ends. So this is going to be the front. So I'm going to go like this. I guess it doesn't matter because it's both the same. It's not a lobster clasp. So I know you guys are probably saying it doesn't matter. All right, so let's go ahead, and there's little ends on this here, but I'm going to go ahead and add a jump ring to it. So let's go ahead and add a jump ring and then get this closed off. You can hear that lock into place with the jump ring. Then let's go ahead and get this last jump ring on here. And we will be all set once I get this on here. There we go. And then we're all set. And again, this is using, you can hear it lock into place, using some seed beads, using those spacer beads, that gorgeous pendant, and some of the Potomac beading wire, beading cable, which is amazing. I love it. It's nylon coated stainless steel. Used some 2x2 crimp tubes or size 2 crimp tubes, and then also used some wire guards for that, and a couple smaller beads. Again, you can use the black glass beads if you like, but I just like how that looks. It just, the silver just kind of all goes in together, and you don't really kind of floats. So I'll take a picture of this, get this posted. Be sure to check out the other Potomac bead videos. I'm going to put a link to their YouTube channel. Also, give this video a big, huge thumbs up if you like it. Also, comment. I love to see what everybody has to say. And subscribe. I'm going to have more videos coming up. I have a lot more stuff to work with this box. So don't go too far. And until next time, have a good one.